Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. Today on this video I am going to be giving you some latest news regarding Brendan Rodgers, and these lots of other things to currently talk about and that. So my overarching view on Brendan Rodgers is that I think he's a really good manager, and I actually now would take him at Manchester United if we had obviously got given that opportunity to get him. I'm very skeptical about him leaving Leicester, because actually no, this is first full season with Leicester. I think he joined them, was it back in February, which was obviously earlier on this year. But I actually believe he would be the right candidate to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But we've had quite a few managers on our agenda, who could replace Solskjaer at the football club, because Solskjaer is under intense pressure, reflecting on our disastrous start to this season. And I think Solskjaer is aware of the pressure, that he is under. We've only won 4 games in the league so far this season, and we are 13 games into the Premier League season. But like I've said to you on my recent videos, I think the next 3 games are going to decide, whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is staying or whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going. So I think, for Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club to be saved, I think we need to win probably at least 2 of our next 3 games. We probably, need to win them all, to be honest with you. We do go up against Aston Villa today. Then after Villa, it's Tottenham. Then, of course, it is Man City. And they're going to be 2 extremely difficult games in that. Obviously, if we do sack Solskjaer, which I think is looking very imminent now, I think it's just a matter of time, he's going to be the next manager to be sacked. Obviously, it's going to cost the club a substantial amount of money. Because Solskjaer's on a 3-year contract. He's on around £7.5 million pounds a year in that. So I just think we need to see a variety of changes at the football club anywhere. I don't think we only need change. We need a change of management. I think we also need to get rid of our current board, because the board have been a liability for several years. I still believe there's more players that need to leave the football club, despite the fact a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival. I also believe that Ed Woodward is a liability. So he also replicates the board. But yeah, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, because obviously, reflecting back before the international break, we was in a good run of form. We'd won 5 games out of 6 in all competitions, but we've been very poor in the last 2 games. So I'll take that into account. So Brendan Rodgers, like I said, he's done a really good job with Leicester City. I think he's a pretty decent manager and all that, and he's emulated himself up over the years. He has progressed Leicester City to second in the Premier League, and I think at Leicester, he's replicating what he did at Celtic, because he had a good 3-year spell with Celtic. Won quite a few Scottish Premierships. Also, I enjoyed a good season with Liverpool when he was younger, even though he was at Liverpool quite a few years. Also did very well with Swansea. I thought when he went to Liverpool, he emulated the football at Liverpool. What he actually produced at Swansea. Obviously when he was a lot younger as well, he managed like Reading and Watford. He actually began his managerial career, with the Chelsea youth. So he's actually now a really good manager. Obviously, if we do go in for him, I do believe we're gonna have to obviously pay something, to recommend him in. Reportedly, Leicester, would demand around £14 million and that. But it's not only Man United that are interested. Also Arsenal are in search for a new manager, and reportedly they've Brendan Rodgers is one of the managers that's on Arsenal's agenda as well. As you know, it confirmed a couple of days ago that obviously Arsenal Football Club had sacked Unai Emery. the sacked at Arsenal. It did confirm, obviously, that Freddie Ljungberg has taken over Arsenal on a temporary basis. So, from an Arsenal perspective, they're hopeful, that Freddie Ljungberg can elevate them forward. Arsenal did come out with a couple of reasons why they sacked Imre. Is due to the performances and the results not at the level as required and that. But Arsenal did say, they're hoping all the best in the future. So they hope he, can become successful in that. But yeah, Umran was sat after just 18 months in charge. But there was no surprise there anywhere. He wasn't good enough for Arsenal. And to be honest with you, I thought Arsenal, looked better under Arsene Wenger, than what they did do under Unai. Obviously, Arsene Wenger enjoyed 22 years with Arsenal. He's the second longest serving manager in English football, and analysing it, you can say Wenger had a good 12 or 13 years out of the 22 years he was there. But Arsenal have been a toxic club, for several years. But yeah, so Rodgers is one of the managers on Arsenal's agenda in that. Arsenal have got quite a few managers on their agenda. Obviously, there's still not a lot of narratives in the mainstream media going on regarding Massimiliano Allegri. There were talks about him going to Arsenal recently. There's also talks about him, going to Man United still. Don't forget, at one point, Massimiliano Allegri was our primary candidate to replace Mulligan and Solskjaer. Now, do you think Massimiliano Allegri would be the right candidate? Obviously, he did say a while back that he was learning English in preparation for his potential move. Was Massimiliano Allegri. Obviously, he's never managed in the Premier League. He's actually, so far spent the entirety of his managerial career, in the Serie A. Obviously, emulated himself up over the years because actually Massimiliano Allegri, started managing, smaller various Italian clubs. He didn't only spend, the entirety of his managerial career in Italy. He also spent the entirety of his playing career in Italy and that. He resigned as Juventus manager at the end of last season. He enjoyed like a 5-year tenure with Juventus. He won the vast majority of his silverware there. He also did progress them to Champions League finals and that. But yeah, so maybe would be the right man for Man United. He said not too long ago that he actually turned down the Arsenal job, but I think he's actually keen on coming to the Premier League. He's Massimiliano Allegri, but Arsenal are in a really really bad run of form. Like I said, they haven't won in 7 games. This is they're actually enjoying their worst competitive run without a victory since February 1992, which is obviously over 20 odd years ago now, but I think, we're in a similar situation, to Arsenal and that, they're not on it, they did the right thing sacking Emre, but, obviously, their team, he's not playing as a unit, you could say that Emre, obviously the vast majority of that squad wasn't his, but, I thought he inherited some decent players. Obviously, they're just not playing as a unit, like I mentioned, similar sort of thing, with Man United and that. But they have got some good players deep down with Arsenal. But like I said, their recruitment's been poor for several years. Our recruitment's been very poor for several years. And I did say, Arsenal's expectations this season, will be the same as ours. Obviously, will be to finish in that top 4. To obviously, get back in Champions League football and that. But I'm very sceptical about Man United getting the top 4. I'm also very sceptical about Arsenal getting in that top 4 and that. But I could still say, I think, we could still win the Europa League. Maybe Arsenal, could win the Europa League and that. Despite the fact, that we lost to Astana 2-1. Obviously, Arsenal lost to Frankfurt, 2-1 and that. But yeah, obviously, there's still a lot of talks, going on about Mauricio Pochettino. I think, it's very, very likely, he will be my next manager if Solskjaer is to be sacked. And if he obviously, does come in, he will be our 5th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. I also know that Arsenal have been in for him. I'm very, very sceptical by the way of him going to Arsenal. I think it's more imminent he'll come to Man United and that. Also, don't forget Michel Pochettino held talks with Bayern Munich not too long ago. So, there's been quite a few clubs that have been in for him. Don't forget, we've actually, reignited our interest in Pochettino, but overall, we've been long admirers of him because reflecting back, before we recommended Solskjaer in, we was in for Mauricio Pochettino and that. This was obviously after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December of last year. But obviously, we didn't get him is because obviously he was reluctant to leave Tottenham. Obviously, as well, Daniel Levy is a hard negotiator. I also, put that into the equation. And obviously at the time, we'd have had to pay around 30 odd million pounds in compensation. But obviously now it's a different sort of scenario because now we don't have to pay anything to recommend him in. But I think, Pochettino would grasp the opportunity to come to Manchester United, to take the mantle on the club if Solskjaer is to be sacked in that. I think Pochettino's totally comparison. I think he's totally a comparison to Mulligan and Solskjaer. I think he's a better manager than Solskjaer. He's more experienced. My only element of concern I've got about him is that, he hasn't won all in terms of silverware and that. But prior to that, good manager. I thought he enjoyed 5 great years, with Tottenham and that. Obviously, he progressed Tottenham to their first ever League Cup final in his first full season. He got a couple of third place finishes with them. He also got them to their first ever Champions League final last season. He also developed Southampton. He had a great short tenure there. He also, before that, was at Espanyol. So far, Mauricio Pochettino has managed 3 clubs. So he's been managing now for just over a decade. But yeah, I think his philosophy, would be right for Man United and that, and I think he, would be reliable, to bring the right caliber players in and that to the football club, because he did spend a substantial amount of Tottenham. I think definitely spent over £200 million over the 5 years. He was there and that. But he's managerless at the moment. But I don't see Pochettino being managerless for long. But, like I said, our preference was Solskjaer, over him and that, because I give you the couple of reasons why he was our preference, because obviously Solskjaer and that, knows the traditions of the club, plus Solskjaer was a cheaper solution, and, that's the way we saw it. We didn't really have to pay that much to recommend him in from Mould and that. Maybe he could go to Arsenal, but, I'm just very, very sceptical, that he will. Also Mikel Arteta is on Arsenal's agenda as well. Obviously he's a former Arsenal player at the moment. He's currently the head coach, by the way, he's the coach assistant, of Man City. I think also Carlo Ancelotti has been on Arsenal's agenda. Don't forget, Arsenal did identify Nuno Santo as their primary candidate as well to replace, obviously, Unai Emery. Like I said, Nuno Santo's been a revelation for Wolves. And, he has been at Wolves quite a few years now and again with him. He's emulated himself up as Nuno Santo. Don't forget, a couple of years ago, he guided Wolves to the Championship title. He also progressed them, to the Europa League, because obviously, he guided Wolves to a 7th place finish last season, so I do credit him for that. I think maybe the beneficial thing about, Arsenal getting Nuno Santo, which I don't think they will, but if they do, is that obviously, Arsenal's head of football, Raul Sanelli, and obviously, Nuno Santo's agent, George Mendes, don't forget they do have a strong relationship. So, like I said, that could be beneficial for Arsenal. Nuno Santo, like I said before, he was at Wolves. He managed Porto, Valencia, and Rio Ave. So, Wolves is the 4th team he's managing now. The 4th club he's managing. So, yeah, he's another manager on Arsenal's agenda. But like I did say, it's very, very imminent. that Solskjaer is going to be the next manager to be sacked. I've also got to admire Jose Mourinho, because I think he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his managerial career with Tottenham. Obviously, he's now won 3 games out of 3 with Tottenham. Tottenham beating Bournemouth by 3 goals to 2 yesterday. So he's done really, really well. And I think, like I said anyway, I think, Mourinho will succeed at Tottenham and that. Overall, he is really, really good manager. And like I said, so far he's won 25 major honours in his managerial career. Obviously, Mourinho was also linked with the Arsenal job at one point. There was talks about him going to Arsenal and that. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans, will be disappointed, that he didn't go to Arsenal, and obviously, that he went to Tottenham instead. He has got a contract, by the way, with Tottenham until the end of the 2022-2023 season. He's on a substantial amount a year. He's on around 15 million a year. So that's actually almost double than what Pochettino was on, because Pochettino was on just around 8.5 million pounds a year in that. But Mourinho, it's good to see him, back in the Premier League. And that, obviously, I did give you the variety of reasons why his 2.5-year tenure didn't work out for him at Man United and that, because obviously, he had bad disputes with the board. Because he had bad disputes with the board and bad disputes, with the top players. The board weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend it to the football club last summer and that. But yeah, overall, a very, very good manager in that. So yeah, Mourinho's enjoyed a good start to his managerial career. As you all know, we do go up against Aston Villa today. It is 4:30 kick-off at Old Trafford. It is the second newly promoted team that we are facing in space of a week and that. But obviously, it's a game that we do have to win if we do want to keep our hopes up for that top 4. Because I think at the moment, we're sitting around is it 9 points, something like that, behind top 4. So we do have to win this game today. Obviously, I give my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference that I did a couple of days ago. Obviously, building up to the game. And he's obviously provided us with some news regarding Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. He did say that Paul Pogba is stepping up his recovery. He did say let's see soon how match fit and available he will be. But he did say when Paul Pogba does return, he will be like a world class sign, and this is what I said during his press conference. So what he's saying is he's a world-class midfielder, and obviously, he knows how much of an imperative play he is, but take him out of that midfield, you can basically tell the difference straight away. So Paul Pogba's had an ongoing ankle injury. The last league game he played was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal, so he's missed the vast majority of our games this season due to injury. He obviously said not too long ago that Paul Pogba was refusing to play for the football club. He was refusing to play for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he still, I think, wants to leave Man United. But allegedly, it said he was faking the injury. Definitely, Paul Pogba still wants him out of the football club. He still wants to make the move to Real Madrid. So he has got the same preference, of what he had for the entirety of the summer, because his preference was a move to Real Madrid for the entirety of the summer. And I think he was infuriated that, he didn't, make the move to Real Madrid during the summer. Paul Pogba did reveal initially at the start of the summer anyway that he wanted to leave the football club. He did say, obviously, he was seeking for a new challenge in that, and basically wanted to leave the football club to rejuvenate his career in that. But yeah, regardless of whether Paul Pogba stays or goes anywhere, we still need to address that midfield, and that's one of the priority areas. Definitely, where Man United do need to strengthen up. Also, there was rumours emerging out, during the summer about him possibly making a return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years in Turin, but hasn't really replicated this at Man United. I think we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, to be honest with you, in that 3 month period when Solskjaer now was the interim manager. So that's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba. But, Solskjaer's basically defending him. Even despite the fact he still wants to leave, Solskjaer's defended his professionalism and that. But he is still only, 26 years of age. He's still in his prime. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Still 2 years left on his contract with an option of a further year. He's on a substantial amount at the club. He's on around 290 grand a week. So he's in that aspect, he's one of the highest paid players at the football club. But rumours did emerge out saying that Paul Pogba could be back for the Tottenham game next week. So if he's back for the Tottenham game, he will get that reunion with Jose Mourinho. Like I said, he also provided us some news regarding McTominay. Now, I think, McTominay could play today. It's not assured that he will play today. Solskjaer is hopeful that he can play today and that. He did confirm, obviously, that McTominay, had returned home. But McTominay's had an ankle injury himself. He's missed the last couple of games and that has McTominay. But like I said, analysed him this season, he has been a revelation for Man United and that. I don't know if he's a long-term solution for the football club, but, I think he's done really, really well, and he has deserved to be a consistent starter, and he has deserved to keep his place in the team as McTominay. But he's been out with an ankle injury. Obviously, during the international break, he had to withdraw from the Scotland squad, due to his ankle injury. Don't forget, he did have initial scans on his ankle, obviously to find out the extent of the injury. But he initially sustained the injury in the game against Partizan Belgrade when we did win by 3-0. But the injury reoccurred in the 3-1 win against Brighton just before the international break. So also, take that into account as well. Take that into account as well. But so could be playing today, which would be a massive booster for us. Also, like I said during the press conference, Solskjaer had, praised Brandon Williams because, like I said, Brandon Williams has also been a revelation. Solskjaer now views Brandon Williams as he's obviously his first choice left back. So, like I said, I think he's a much better solution than Ashley Young. He's a better solution than Luke Shaw, despite the fact now that Luke Shaw is back. By the way, I think Solskjaer's assured that Luke Shaw will be making his Premier League return today. So too will Alex Tuanzebe. Don't forget, Luke Shaw and Tuanzebe, both played against FC Astana. That was Tuanzebe's first game since the Newcastle game, and it was Luke Shaw's first game since the Crystal Palace game. So it is good, anyway, to see them back in action. But for my overarching view on it, I think Brandon Williams deserves to keep his place at left back, and that his performances have been very, very good. And I did say, he would more first team promotions if he does keep the good run form up, and this is exactly what's happened. Solskjaer did mention that Ethan Laird obviously knows Brandon well because they played together up through the years. Brandon Williams, of course, scored his first senior goal for the club last week in the 3-3 draw with Sheffield United, and Solskjaer said his goal and that really, really good. So these are some of the things that he mentioned in his press conference. Like I said on before, he also praised Villa during his press conference, and Solskjaer is aware of how much of a difficult game it's going to be. Villa haven't enjoyed a great start to the season, but like I said, they are a newly promoted team. I think, their manager, Villa's manager, has just recently, signed them a new contract. But the last game we played against Villa at Old Trafford was back in April 2016. That's the last time we versed them, and we did win the game by 1-0. It was a goal from Marcus Rashford and that. But like I said, we should win the game anyway because we are expected to see the vast majority of our senior players back. obviously the vast majority of our senior players were rested against FC Astana. Like I said, there was only 4 senior players that played, and that was Luke Shaw, Tuan Zepe, Jesse Lingard, and Lee Grant. Obviously, the rest of them were younguns. The vast majority of the younguns were, recommended over were teenagers. Around 14 of them were teenagers against FC Astana. But Solskjaer in total handed 7 debuts out. He gave Ethan Laird his debut. He got given his debut. He was pleased with his performance. He was also pleased with Dylan Levitt's performance. He was pleased with Deshaun Bernard's performance despite his own goal and that. Lee Grant, of course, had been given his full debut. But the reason Solskjaer went with all them youngsters is obviously because he knew it was a meaningless game. Obviously, we're already into the Europa League knockouts anywhere. Which is obviously very, very good. And I did say, didn't I? I think it's our only route to Champions League football this season. Is progressing in the Europa League. Because, I don't think we're obviously going to get that top 4 this season. But we qualified basically after 4 games. I thought the performance was very, very disappointing against FC Astana, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Apart from the first 10-15 minutes where I thought we was in control and we had some decent opportunities in that. Don't forget, Chong missed an absolute save in the second half. I think, I presume, he would have got some criticism for that. But yeah, so we need to see a performance totally comparison to what we saw against Astana and Sheffield United, because I thought we was poor against Sheffield United last week. We wasn't very, very good against them. Like I said, again, in the Sheffield United game, we had a good 10-minute spell. Don't forget, we scored 3 times in the space of 7 minutes, and we was close to winning our first game this season from obviously a losing position and that. But it actually was a good comeback. But we was disappointed obviously that we didn't hang on. But Sheffield United themselves would have been more disappointed that they obviously didn't win the game from that winning position. But I'm confident probably Man United will win today anyway. We've got a superb record against Villa and that. But I am, really, really looking forward to the game, indeed. And like I said, we've still got other players injured. Eric Bailly's injured. Still with a knee injury. Fossil Mensu's still out with a knee injury. Marcus Rojo still out with a muscle injury. He sustained this injury, during the international break. I think Diego Dalot's still out. He's sustained quite a few injuries this season. And we've also got I think Matic is still out with a minor problem. But, the good news is, more players are now back from injury. But anyway, analysing it, the vast majority of the, with the injuries we've had this season anyway, Solskjaer has had to make a lot of alterations in the squad. Obviously, he has tried a few different elements in that. He's tried a few different formations on a regular basis this season. Solskjaer has gone with that 4-2-3-1 formation and that. A couple of times he's gone like the 3-4-1-2, the 3-5-2, or he's tried a few different formations. On the odd occasion, he has gone with a 4-3-3. But like I said, I think certain players have stepped up to the plate, which is you can say is a positive. I think Rashford rejuvenated himself. Rashford's doing really, really well now. I think Rashford, to be fair, has done well in his last 8 games. At least for Man United, he's done absolutely fantastic as Marcus Rashford. I know I've criticised him for the vast majority of this season, reflecting on his performances and that, but he's really stepped up to the plate, and I think he's definitely the long-term solution for Man United and that. Some Man United fans do believe that Rashford is overrated, but to be fair, he's done well recently. So far, anyway, Rashford spent the entirety of his career with a football club. He's been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad of us since 2016 and that. And I think Rashford has now, I think he's scored around 55 goals, in just under 200 appearances in all competitions, which is obviously now very, very impressive. And he's just the age of 22. But yeah, obviously he's a consistent starter anywhere. Martial, like I said, he's done fantastically well since he come back from injury. You can say he had obviously more inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch and that. Martial predominantly plays out wide, mainly on the left, but obviously, you got to give him that number 9 shirt, don't forget, at the start of this season. And, I said anyway, he seems to be more effective in that central position. Does Anthony Martial and that. He's now into his 5th season at the football club. I'm glad he didn't leave the club because, don't forget, before he was subject to transfer speculation and before there was rumours about him possibly leaving the club. And that would have been a mistake by Man United if we'd have let Anthony Martial go, even if we had generated a substantial amount for his departure. But, he's a very, very imperative player in that, because Martial helps the likes of Rashford and Daniel James and that. Don't get me wrong, we still need two. I think we need 2 attackers, definitely, because I think since the departures of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, we've looked very exposed in that attacking line for the vast majority of this season, you've got to say. So I think we need to add more experience in that attacking line, because in the vast majority of our games this season, you've got to say we've been struggling to create chances. We've been struggling to score goals. And, when you don't create enough chances, you're going to obviously, not score enough goals and that. We haven't seemed to have that clinical element in that. So we need someone to come in that can be more effective in the box. Someone that can obviously, assure us goals and that. And, we've got to address this problem, next year and that. But like I said anyway, there's still deficiencies in the squad that definitely need to be addressed. We need a couple of midfielders. We need an attacking midfielder. We need a defensive midfielder. I think we also need a right winger in that. There's possibly other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed, definitely. But the good thing is that we already are making our plans for next year. I don't think Solskjaer will be here at the end of the season. I can definitely assure that 100%. I don't even think he'll be here in January. There's a possible chance he could be here in January, but I'm very, very sceptical about it. We have got a lot of players on our agenda, who we could go in for next year. Reportedly, it says we're going to get around, £200 million over the course of the next 2 transfer windows. The question is, though, is £200 million enough for us to address all the deficiencies in the squad? Is it enough for us to bring the right number of players there that we want in? I think it's, like I've said on numerous occasions, it's dependent on how we are with our recruitment. We're going to be sensible with our recruitment. Are we going to overpay for players? But there again, we got 3 players in the summer for under £200 million. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James, who's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. I've also got to take into account he's been a revelation for the football club. I didn't expect him to play as well as he has done. I didn't expect him to settle in as quick as he has done. I didn't even expect him to play the number of games to the extent as he has done. So I've been very, very impressed with him. But he's only the age of 21, and I think he'll become a Galactico player at Man United, definitely. And Wan-Bissaka's done really, really well, and I can rely on him, definitely, and I think he will be our full-back for the next decade. And Harry Maguire, I think he's done well. I do agree that, the club did overpay for him, because, we paid, £80 million for Harry Maguire. Well, it was 70 million up front with 10 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise it to £80 million. Don't get me wrong, I still think we've got problems defensively, despite we brought Harry Maguire in, because, we still seem to be scoring more goals in that. I did recommend, 3 good signings to the squad during the summer, and that's one thing I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for. But I think definitely our recruitment's got to improve, because it's been very poor for several years. I think, we need at least 5 to 6, maybe even more signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. If we are as well to be a future title contenders, so I just wanted to take that into account, because I knew this season that we wouldn't win the league or mount any kind of title challenge up, because obviously we're not good enough to do that at the moment. But one thing I did expect us to do is to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season and that. But obviously that hasn't materialised, because, we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for for over 30 years, and all that, and it just basically now hasn't happened. But anyway, I think our aspirations will be that top four in the next couple of seasons, definitely. But like I said, the three signings that we brought in, I think no blame at all. They're totally blameless, of our bad performances this season, because I think all them three have done really, really well in that. Like I put into the equation, McTominay's done well. I think Fred's done well in certain parts. I think some aspects of his game, still need to improve. But I've got to say, recently, I think Fred has been a revelation. I think he's full Paul Pogba's position well. Obviously, he has been full in Paul Pogba's position. That Fred. I don't know if he'll become a Galactico player at Man United. I don't know if he's a long-term solution for the club. I would still give him more time because, he's only been here since the summer of 2018. And to be fair, Fred never really got the opportunity under Jose Mourinho. But I think, he has done well in some games this season. So definitely, certain players have stepped up to the plate and that, which is obviously, very, very good news. And like I said, with our bad performances this season, Solskjaer is definitely accountable for some of that. Obviously, not all the blame stems from him. I think, everyone else has to take responsibility, and I think certain players have to take some responsibility. The board are definitely now accountable for the vast majority of it all. Ed Woodward is accountable for some of it, definitely. But yeah, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, like I've said to you guys. We need to see a variety of changes at the football club, and if Solskjaer is still to be here by January, by the way, he did say he may consider bringing some loan signings in because he's got strong reservations about his long-term targets and all that. But I don't see that happening. I don't think he'll be here by January. Definitely sure that he won't see out his 3-year contract, but. Solskjaer in total has been at Man United now for 12 months, nearly 12 months it is now, yeah. He's been permanent manager now for nearly 9 months, and obviously for the vast majority of that 9 months, he's endured a really difficult time. Obviously, in comparison to his time when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well when he was interim manager in that 3-month period. But obviously, at that point, my perception then was different regarding Solskjaer, because I thought then he was the right manager. But over the course of this 8 months or so, obviously, my perceptions have started to change on him. I said I wanted him to succeed at Man United, and I wanted him to succeed because at the end of the day, he's a club legend and that. I also wanted to bring that winning mentality and that fear factor back to the club, but I just don't think he's going to do it, and I just don't think he's the right manager. Us persistently getting rid of managers isn't the answer, but I just don't think he's good enough. And like I said, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers anyway. We've already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Like I said to you, David Moyes left after 10 months. He had the shortest tenure with the football club since, the Ferguson era. Van Gaal left after just a year and a half, despite the fact he won the FA Cup with the club. And Mourinho left after 2.5 years and that. So we don't really want to keep sacking managers. But some people believe us getting rid of Solskjaer now, wouldn't obviously solve any problems at the club, really, because not all the blame just stems from the manager. Gary Neville recently, by the way, gave his overarching view on it all, and he said that if Solskjaer is to be here by January, he needs to be ruthless in the January transfer market, or even Neville believes, we will not last there too long. But Solskjaer hasn't really got that managerial experience anyway, let's be honest. That doesn't mean he won't do well, but it's always beneficial if you've got that managerial experience, and he hasn't really got that. Solskjaer, so that's another element of concern I've got about him. For the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer has been tactically naive. Maybe in some games we've showed a lot of tactical flexibility, But yeah, not the right manager for Man United, and he's also got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players and that. Because he did say, didn't he, at the start of this season, that all the young players would get given their chances, and to be fair, this is what's happened. I thought there was a fruition throughout pre-season, the young players. I've got some element of concerns about, some of the young players, don't get me wrong. I think some of them will become a success. So I think Greenwood will do well. Greenwood scored his first Premier League goal last season for Man United against Sheffield United. He scored 4 senior goals this season in all competitions for the football club. These question marks around Solskjaer. Why is he not yet started from the start in the Premier League? I don't think he started yet from the start in the Premier League as Mason Greenwood and that. But I think as time goes on, as he develops more in that, I think he will probably overtake Marcus Rashford and eventually become a better goal scorer than Marcus Rashford. Brandon Williams will become a success. Tuanzebe will become a success. I think perhaps James Garner will become a success in that. But I've got some element of concerns about some of the young players, definitely. But Solskjaer's got a lot of trustworthy in them, and he's still keen on, recruiting more young players to the club, like he did do during the summer and that. But like I said, I don't think, he will be here in January. So that's one thing I am going to assure. We'll be doing my reaction for the Man United Villa game. Obviously, it might not be straight after the game, but I will be giving you my post match reaction on it definitely. Obviously, there's more previews and that to come up on this channel. The Tottenham preview will be coming up probably. That will be tomorrow, probably the Tottenham preview, or the day after. Tottenham, of course, is on the 4th of December. Then after that, it is Manchester City at home. City have also, dropped quite a few points this season. You've got to say it's Liverpool's league now to lose, I think they're sitting, 11 points clear, But yeah, I think they're going to win it this season. They beat Brighton 2-1 yesterday. City drew 2-2 with Newcastle yesterday. Chelsea, surprisingly, lost 1-0 at home to West Ham. But I think there's about 3 or 4 games today by the way. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, like, on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.